Good morning, Tim. This is blog entry number 15 as part of Practicum. It is Friday, December 8th. So this week we're supposed to talk about student groupings, our favorite lesson plan, and our submission of our AT report. I just spoke to my AT, Chris. He has not received any paperwork from Karen, so I'm going to follow up with that today with Karen, CCing Chris on an email so that there's no confusion there, I guess, going forward. Student groupings, I'm finding that I have to experiment with that now. I have a few students that are too chummy with each other in class. Either they goof off or they act out or they're talking all the time. So I've had to move some students around. I didn't want it to come to that, but here we are. Favorite lesson plan. It works out great this week because I'm actually doing a lesson plan on how to build a sheet metal toolbox. It's one of the most basic concepts, I guess, in sheet metal. And it shows students a variety of skills, teaches students a variety of skills in order to be successful at this. And what we have here is, I have some of the patterns drawn on the board, and I have some of the cut sizes. But what I'm getting students to do is lay it out, measure it, fabricate it themselves, use some of the tools in the shop. And I've done this in order to mimic some auto body repair techniques that you would see in transportation. Since I can't work on vehicles, I've had to resort to reaching out to some friends for some sheet metal supplies and, again, make these toolboxes so kids get familiar with using a brake, rolling metal, bending metal, using some of the tools associated with it. Because there are times, if they're in an auto body line of work in transportation, they want to form and fit sheet metal, they want to figure it out, design it, whatever the case may be. So I've been able to tie that construction background of mine into this transportation lesson plan that I'm doing here right now on auto body sheet metal toolboxes, whatever you want to call it. So that's pretty exciting. And it keeps them busy, and they are genuinely excited about using some of those tools and building something from scratch. So I think that's pretty exciting. One other thing I wanted to show you this week. This is my Boston Red Sox seat. Several years ago, when on my first trip to Boston, like 7 years ago, I bought this seat bottom from Fenway Park. And about 2 trips ago, I actually found a back that would accompany the seat. So I bought the backing, but I had nothing to attach it to. Well, over the summer, I went to a scrapyard in Toronto, and I found a bunch of the Skydome seats they had removed from Rogers Centre, and I purchased a couple of them. And one seat I fully restored as a Toronto Blue Jays Skydome seat, and I built some legs to go on it so it would stand up on its own. Because as it stands, these are bolted to concrete originally, this original frame. So I had to put some legs on the base. Now my first base is just an angle iron set of legs. Easy peasy. This Red Sox seat, because the seat pattern itself was different, and the fold up and down arms that came on the Skydome seat were very, very thick, and the seat itself was very thick to accommodate those arms, I was not able to use those arms as part of this because this seat is very thin. So what I had to do was do some layout, fabricate a base. You can't really see in the camera, I'm sure, but I had to cut it in several spots, the angle iron, and bend it to match the I don't know what you want to say, concave, convex, I can't remember, but the shape, the bend here on the seat itself. And then once that was completed, I was able to apply the seat. And I've had to reinforce it in a few spots, and because this is a cast frame, I was not able to use the hardware that came with it because I took those arms off. So I kind of tried to tack it, and I'm not sure if it casts and the steel will hold it. It says that it should, the way that I applied it. But then I just reinforced it with some other legs. But it's nice to, after 7 years of like first collecting this portion, to finally having a complete set. So this can go up by my fire pit. I have a Blue Jays one that can go right next to it, which I will never sit in because I hate the Blue Jays. But I can't wait to clean this up and then somewhat, I guess, restore it. But it's a custom seat, and I'm really proud of this. So it's been fun. While we were in Windsor over the summer, you did pretty much every day say to us, "I'm not your friend. I don't care. I'm not your friend." And I always thought, I don't get why you always give off this image of being cold. because you're not a cold guy. I actually think outside of class, you're probably a pretty swell guy, and we would be best friends. And I knew there had to be a method or a reason behind it, and it clicked to me earlier this week. I had one of my students who likes to be a little bit inappropriate come up to me and he's like, "Yo, Mr. T, what do you like? Do you like ass or pussy? Like, what are you into in a chick?" And I said, "KJ, I'm not your friend. I'm your teacher. You don't talk to me like that. We don't have these discussions. You know, there has to be a certain boundary here, and you've crossed that boundary now." And that's when it clued into me. I had students come in the other day, and I said, "Why are you guys late?" They're about 15 minutes late. They're like, "Dominoes." I'm like, "Not my problem. Class starts at this time. Since you're not here at this time, you now have to go to the office and get a slip from the office." And it's like, boom, light bulb went off. So now I get it. And I do find myself, and I did catch myself previously saying to other students that I'm not your friend. And there's always a method behind everything you say. And I knew that from the very first day, whereas maybe some people misunderstood your approaches. I genuinely like the way that you approach things. You come off as a hard ass. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. But I'm always thinking in the back of my mind, there's a reason why you're doing this. It's not just to be Tim Teague's the Terminator. So that's my blog entry this week, Tim. Oh, and one more note. I heard unofficially earlier this week that I'm going to be offered an LTO starting on Monday when my principal gets back from vacation. She's been gone for about 2 weeks. But I heard from some senior admin they're going to offer me second semester LTO here. And I don't think I'm going to accept it. I'm not happy with the climate of the school. Admin's been great, but the students genuinely do not care. They're here for a free credit. They're here to vandalize and damage. I can't see myself limping through another. I'm already looking at how I'm going to limp through January with the limited resources that I have because I don't have any vehicles in the shop, because I have students that act out all the time. I have to spend more of my time watching to make sure students aren't hitting each other or acting up or doing something inappropriate than I can actually teaching. And that's super frustrating to me, and I just can't envision doing another semester of that. And this might put me in a position come February where I don't have an additional LTO somewhere else. I might screw myself by not accepting this one, but it's a disservice to this school, and it's a disservice to myself if I take on something that I don't want, because my heart's not in it now. I'm disappointed in myself for giving up, I suppose. I'm going to get through this semester. I'm going to do the best that I can do, but I've just given up on teaching this class and transportation as a whole right now. So I'm going to limp through it, and hopefully something else comes along. I'm not officially going to say no yet about this LTO. Maybe I'll seek some guidance from you, have a chat with you about it. But yeah, I'm just not feeling it. It's not a vibe that I'm enjoying. And I'm at a point now where I'm almost unhappy getting up to go to work. And that's the reason why I left construction, because I was unhappy. I was unsatisfied, and I wanted more. And 2 months into teaching transportation at the school, I'm in that same position. I should have just stayed at my house school. I regret leaving. Hoping I can get back in there in the future, but man, it is what it is, right? I have no one to blame but myself. I wanted this LTO so badly, so I have to reap those rewards. Anyhow, that's my blog entry, Tim. I will look forward to seeing you on Saturday, and look forward to all the compliments about this beautiful Red Sox piece that I made. See you soon.